It's Atlanta's #1 hip-hop station, Hot 107.9 at home for the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Of course, you know it's your folk, B-High. Radio shouted, stepping in the building. I got a guy who has single-handedly brought lyricism back to the South, man.
Oh, man.
That boy Nick Grant, what's good with it, boss?
What's up, man? You putting a lot on me, man.
Well, no, you don't put a lot on yourself, man. I'm going to just be real with you. The first time I got familiar, I was over there at Main Street. Drum, Cannon Sense. They was playing that Black Sinatra.
Black Sinatra, what?
And at the end of the show, I said, hey, man. I said, who is that talking about? They from the South rapping like that.
Man.
And I knew then that it was real.
Word.
Break down the style to me, Nick, and tell me what is it that makes you say, you know what, man, every bar has to count in here.
Man, I like that. Every bar has to count.
Yes, sir.
So when I was coming up, you know, I caught on to hip hop at an early age. I had to be about 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to I got into the creative and the physical part of it as far as the writing when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
So it was 2 different rappers that really influenced me. It was Nas and Andre 3000. Nas because, you know, he would make like 4, 5, 6 different words rhyme in one line.
Whew.
And Dre because of the content. You know, I'm from the South too, so he was saying a lot of stuff that I could relate to. So, you know, for me, it was just kind of meshing those 2 things together and just creating my own style and things that was beneficial to me. So, yeah.
Now, I mean, speaking of that Outkast influence, man, I mean, that 2 Dope Boys in the Cadillac track.
Oh, yeah, man.
I mean, you bodied that thing. I mean, first of all, that was one of my favorite Organized Noise tracks right there.
Oh, word.
And to hear you get on that thing and give it hell, I mean, I felt good. Tell me what was it like crafting that 88 tape, man?
Oh, man. For me, when I was coming up, it was older people saying, like, you know, in the 80s, you had all these elite rappers. Well, specifically the year 88, you had all these elite rappers existing at one time. Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, so on and so forth. So for me, it wasn't, I didn't want people to go into the tape thinking, oh, he gonna be rapping over these beats.
Yeah.
I wanted it to kind of restore the feeling and give people the same feeling that these artists gave me when I was coming up. So, you know, for me, it was just the feeling. I want to kind of restore the feeling and give a kid the same feeling I had coming up listening to hip hop. So
exactly. What is it though that when you go into that booth and you get ready to record that makes you say, you know what? Everybody needs to have a metaphor or simile in that thing, because I'm listening to it and I'm like, this guy right here, he's just continuously snapping. Man,
I think it's just in me for real.
It's
stuff that I listen to. You know, I think naturally, you know, we all know how it's supposed to feel when it's right. You know, so I just think naturally that's just in me. Like I said, my influences are the great Andre 3000 and Nas and Nasir Jones. So and Biggie Smalls, let's not forget him. Tupac, Jay-Z. You know, these legendary guys. I only kind of indulged in these people, so to speak. So you know, it was other guys that I listened to. It was other genres of music, but I just love these guys so much, and you know, I place emphasis on them. So I think it's just in me.
Oh,
you know, I grew up in a time where that was very important.
Exactly. So. Now, I mean, that royalty remix, man. You got some heavy hitters on that thing. Tell me what was it like getting in there with them?
Man, that was like, you know, just have fun with the music.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are like legends.
Exactly.
You know, these are legendary guys for real. So, you know, I love them. And Killer Mike, you know, I rarely get God on the record, but he did his thing. Like he said a lot of crazy, real, honest stuff and pure stuff that it takes guts to say. So
exactly,
salute to that man. He's a legend.
Now, when it comes to content, though, I mean, you're not really scared to speak your mind, also.
Oh no, you can be.
So now, tell me what makes you decide to go that way versus just saying, you know what, I'm gonna say what's easy, what I know that the pop folks gonna like, and not just hold yourself back from really having some lyrical commentary in there.
I feel like to be great, you have to have a message. To transcend and, you know, and live forever, you have to speak on stuff that everybody can relate to. You know, everybody. It's easy to make. You know, I'm not gonna say like, you know, certain people. I'm not gonna say names or whatever. But it's easy to make those kind of records for me. You know, that ain't even rhyming. That don't take much. But to actually have substance and have something that's, you know, vital and have something, and you know, it's kind of like hiding the medicine in the food.
That's right.
With the music and just saying something that people can relate to more so to speak than anything. But you know, and I guess it's just the way I grew up. You know, I was raised by older people, and I had a lot of different influences in my life, so that kind of helps too. So it's just a mesh of different things that kind of make me who I am, but I just choose that because it feels right to my spirit more so than anything.
Now, when it comes to picking those tracks, though, because I mean, with that lyrical ability, I know you really gotta have some kind of inspiration when it comes to putting that stuff on the track. Now, are you writing the verses without the music first, or are you just vibing to the track and then going?
I mean, it depends. It depends. Sometimes it's just ideas, and I just jot them down, and I
Yeah.
kind of build around the idea. But more times than than anything is whatever the track tells me to say. And then I write whatever I'm inspired. But I only try to write when I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Because that's when it comes out the best, and it's pure that way.
Exactly. I mean, back to that Black Sinatra though, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that Mobb Deep. I mean, when I heard that, it's like this guy knows the best tracks to pick.
Right.
And go in there and just go crazy.
Now, me and my brother, we was watching the movie Juice. And when Q went to go buy the gun.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, I need to rhyme over that. So I kind of went into the studio maybe like 2-3 days later.
Yeah.
Put it together.
See, that's cold.
Yeah, that was it.
That's cool. Now, how long have you been doing the music for?
Professionally or
well, all together.
Since I was 12 years old, so that would make what 15 years. Yeah, 15 years. Yeah.
Now, being in the industry now, is it everything that you thought it would be?
Somewhat. You kind of get an inside view of what you don't want to be and learning from other people's mistakes. But for me, I have such a great team, man, and they just they filter out all the bull crap and just make it. Jason G, the Shaka, Amir. And my team is just so solid, man.
I mean, well, first of all, you just named a cold-blooded team, man.
Man.
I mean, when you got guys like
three.
You see what I'm saying? When you got guys like that working behind you to make sure that the job gets done, what kind of game and knowledge are they hitting you with that's allowing you to amplify everything?
The most important thing for me is, these guys are successful. They're very successful people, and they wake up and chase it like it's still day one.
Mm-hmm.
So that enables me to go harder and drive harder and write music and get up and never be lazy, man. Just stay consistent with what I'm doing. That way they can never look at me like, yo, you ain't accomplished nothing. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not working. I never want to hear them say that. The day they say that is the day I'm finished.
Exactly.
Because they're successful when they done accomplished so much, man. So.
What is it that keeps you motivated, though? Because I know with these songs and this music, do you find yourself ever trying to chase a single, or is it more so of a case, I just want to let these folks feel me right now?
It's like a gift and a curse to have a message, because I would say it's bittersweet, because more people should speak about certain things, but at the same time, nobody's speaking on them, but it gives me a bigger spotlight, and it makes people focus more on me. Like, yo, I hear all of this a whole lot, so what is this guy doing over here?
Yeah.
So it just kind of make me stand out even more. So I guess it's kind of like a good balance. But I feel like more people should speak about certain issues.
Of course. What are some of your favorite issues to speak on, though?
Oh, man, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Just empowering Black people in that whole lift, as you climb mentality. I think people should focus more on that, and I love what Kendrick is doing with that. Speaking on Black social issues and a lot of different things. But I love that question, by the way, because nobody's ever asked me that, and to kind of be able to speak about that is dope. So I think the whole lift as you climb mentality, as you get to a certain level, is just empowering people, such as what Jason did for me.
Yeah.
Just me being in a hard place in my life, and him coming around and saying, yo, this guy is talented, and he's speaking about something, because he could have went and signed a million different artists.
Yeah.
So for him to see that in me is like, hopefully one day I can do the same thing for somebody else.
Now, visuals like The Jungle, man.
Yeah.
Tell me, what was it like putting that thing together?
Man, I just followed somebody else's direction.
Yeah.
For real. So, that was basically it.
How do you feel, though, being a young man out here shooting these videos and having all of this stuff going on? Because, I mean, coming up in the game, we don't know what life's going to take us. You see what I'm saying? You don't know if you're ever really going to get an opportunity and a shot to express yourself like that. How do you feel having that shot right now?
Man, I don't take it for granted. Every day I wake up and just work. That's really all it is for me. I'll never take it for granted, because the day you slip, somebody else is coming behind you to take your spot. So whether they're better than you or not, hard work prevails over everything. I don't care how much talent you have. So,
exactly.
You have to work hard, and I think that's why I'm at where I am and able to have this shot, because I work hard, and God gave me a gift, so I'm gonna use it.
How do you feel now being in the game and being able to enjoy some of the spoils of war and some of the fruits of your labor?
Man,
yeah,
I don't really want to celebrate, big homie. I don't, I want to look back 20 years later and say, I accomplished this, this, and this,
Yeah.
and all of these things. But once I get to a certain level, I try not to celebrate too early.
Yeah.
That's how you slip. That's how you fall off, man. So I don't want to get to that point. I just kind of just work. I just want to work. Like I said, I got guys around me that are successful and working every day diligently to put me in a position. So
now, when it comes to dropping music, I know you dropped that 88.
Yeah.
What we got coming up next after this?
Man, I got a lot to say.
Yeah.
I just say that. So, I'm gonna kind of just, continue to push this and get this message out there, because I don't want certain things on this project to go overlooked. So I just kind of want to keep pushing the pedal.
Yeah.
But man, next go round is gonna be amazing because I done seen so much since I dropped this project.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be classic. Everything I do, I try to make it, like you say, every line count. Every beat has to count. Every hook has to count. I'm not out here singing my own hooks. I got professional singers that sings just as well as I rap to give these songs the greatest potential they can have. So
exactly.
For me, it's just working, man.
What's the creative process behind this music? I mean, are you writing this stuff down bar for bar, going off the top of your head?
No. I'm like a real MC.
Okay.
Like nobody has input on any of my verses. Even if somebody in the studio, you crazy. Even if somebody in the studio has a dope line, I might be like, yo, that's dope, but I'm not gonna use it. Because I'm like a real MC. Like I might take hooks and other stuff, but nobody's ever writing my verses.
Yeah.
The day that comes, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. So
exactly.
And that day it never comes. So I'm always gonna write my verses. You can have input on anything else. But yeah,
where do you see yourself taking it from here, though, Nick?
After the music or just with the music?
With the music and after the music.
With the music, man, being in the conversations with, I feel like the kings, like certain kings and certain names are just forever embedded in history, like the Jay-Z's and the Nas. Yeah. But as far as the new kings, I feel like that's not complete yet. So I want to be in that conversation with the Coles and the Drakes and the Kendricks. So the next generation.
Now, when it comes to the kings, man, I mean, when I hear the music, I mean, I can tell that you're obviously a king yourself.
Right.
Have you been saluted by any of the kings? Because I know I don't really see where nobody can sit down and hear this music and not say, let me call this man and say, hey, boy, that song right there, you went off on that, man.
Man, one of the guys I feel like one of the greatest rappers ever, Andre 3000.
Oh.
So, so that was enough for me. So, yeah, he's heard some of the music and loves it. So.
What goes through your mind, though, when you grew up listening to 3 Racks and then you find out that 3 Racks is rocking with the campaign?
Man, I really feel like it hasn't hit me yet.
Oh.
But just being in there, like, just watching them work, I had to pinch myself like 2 or 3 times just watching them work. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you got to tell me a little bit about that because 3 Racks is like a unicorn. Don't nobody ever know what he's doing. We don't know how he do it, what he's doing.
Man,
what goes through your mind when you sitting in there with one of the greatest and you getting the gems firsthand?
Man, what goes through my mind?
Yeah,
I have to be greater. He loves it, so
yeah.
I never want him to sit me down and be like, "Yo, you slipping." So I just kind of want to always impress him and kind of carry on what he instilled in me through his music. So
exactly,
yeah, definitely. But that man is like a genius. He's a genius.
See, that's cold. Yeah. That's cold. Now, when it comes to the passion for the game, where do you think that you derive the passion from that makes you just stay so focused? Because, like I say, when you're making every bar count, that means that every song is a masterpiece.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It ain't no game every time you go in there. Yeah. And I mean, that can cause some kind of mental fatigue, I would like to think, unless it's just running like water in there.
Man, I'm still under 30. It's like an athlete, that's my knees still work, everything. Yeah. My jump shot is still on. Like, maybe if I'm 40, it's maybe some mental fatigue, but I'm young and hungry, man. I'm ready. I got a lot to prove, so it's just the beginning.
Now, coming with the messages, how do you keep from being too preachy and still being attractive to the youngsters out here that want to hear some rap?
I think it's not pointing the finger.
Hey.
Just saying, do this, but I indulge in these things too. You know what I'm saying? I indulge in these things too. I'm a victim of certain things too, but we as a group of people, or we as black people, or whatever the case may be, just have to do better.
Yes, sir.
That's all it is.
I can definitely dig it. Nick, you got anything you want to get off your chest, partner?
Man, just working. 88 out right now. That's all.
Sir.
listen to that 88, man. It's a classic. A lot
Already.
of gems on there. But when you listen, really dissect it and try to understand what I'm saying.
Now, when you break that down like that, because see, what is it that makes you want folks to break it down and not just let it go over their head, though, Nick?
Man, this can't really explain it. It's just like certain lines may have like 2-3 different meanings.
Mm.
You know, it might mean one thing, it might mean another, but it all makes sense to me.
So that's going through your mind when you laying it down. You
When
like,
I'm
you know
laying it
what?
down, yeah.
Quadruple entendre in this thing. Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly. It has to be like that. I feel like when you say stuff and people have to figure it out, that gives your music longevity. Because it's still rappers like Biggie Smalls that I hear 20 years later and still like, damn, did he say that?
Yeah.
Crazy. So,
and I see it totally different now than I seen it when I first heard it.
Exactly.
Oh, man, that's a beautiful thing. Well, Nick, appreciate you coming through this thing.
Thank you for having me, man.
1,000.
Thank you. Anytime you need anything from me, it's all love, man.
Man, appreciate you, bro. Wish you nothing but the best and much success.
Thank you. Oh, social media handles is Nick Grant Music, at Nick Grant Music. That's NickGrantMusic. At everything.
Already.
Yeah.
Be High Radio, shout it. It's Hot 107.9, man. Let's go.